Just when we thought things between Typus and Remy Ma had calmed down, a new storm has erupted, and this one goes deeper than anything before. Late last night, an anonymous tip sent shockwaves through social media, with Papoose allegedly discovering a series of private, heartbreaking text messages on Remy Ma's phone messages from another man congratulating her on a pregnancy. Let that sink in. The internet is on fire, and fans are completely losing it after a disturbing revelation rocked the hip-hop world to its core. Insiders claim that Papoose was completely blindsided by the texts, which weren't from her husband. He didn't realize anything was wrong, and to the public, he was the ideal husband, loyal, devoted, and always willing to go above and beyond for his queen. However, behind closed doors, a twisted betrayal was taking place right in front of him, according to sources close to this situation. The texts were graphic, emotional, and unquestionably real. One message purportedly read, "Our baby deserves the world just like you." The implications were devastating. Papoose's entire world collapsed in a matter of seconds. He was planning their future together 1 minute, and then he started doubting everything: the marriage, trust, love, and most importantly, the truth. Fans are shocked. Supporters are split. And the hip-hop community is finding it difficult to deal with the possible fallout of what could be the most devastating betrayal of the year. But that's not even the worst part. We're going to take you through every terrifying detail: the confrontation, the breakdown, the shocking names that were revealed, and how this bombshell could tear their hearts apart. Papoose was in the kitchen early, making his signature avocado toast and pouring fresh orange juice into 2 glasses. He hummed softly to himself, feeling that familiar sense of peace he had always associated with mornings spent alongside Remy Ma. For years, he had supported her through court cases, prison time, career setbacks, and even rumors that could have destroyed any other couple, but not them. Grab your popcorn and brace yourself, because this isn't just a story. It's a full-blown, emotional roller coaster. Remy left her phone on the counter, and he knew that this would be the last normal morning he would ever have with her. What was unusual, though, was the constant buzzing that broke the morning silence. Papoose looked at the phone and then turned his head away, trying not to be that man, the insecure, paranoid husband who checked his wife's phone. But something felt wrong, and he couldn't ignore it today. The name flashed on the screen, but it was just a string of emojis, 3 hard eyes, and a baby bottle. There was no contact name, just that. When he hesitated once more, he picked up the phone and saw what would shatter him: a lengthy, intimate thread full of future plans and loving words. One message said, "I still can't believe you're carrying my baby. You've made me the happiest man alive." Papoose's heart dropped. He scrolled further. "Don't stress today. He doesn't need to know. Let's just take care of our little secret until the time is right." His hands started to tremble. For a full minute, he couldn't breathe. This couldn't be real. This had to be a mistake. A prank? A hack? Anything but what? His knees gave out and he fell to the floor, his phone still in hand, his breath turning into shallow gasps. His entire body went cold, but he was sweating and his ears rang, drowning out the sound of the birds chirping outside the kitchen. The place that had felt like home now felt like a tomb. However, it wasn't the timestamps, the language, or the way the messages referred to personal details that only a partner would know. At that moment, Remy entered casually, sipping her iced coffee. She paused in the middle of her sentence when she noticed him on the floor with her phone in his hand and the screen still lit. Papoose slowly raised his head, his eyes hollow, and his voice trembled. He asked, "Why did Ree's face go pale?" "I can explain," she stammered, stepping forward. No, she muttered, shaking his head. "You're going to tell me that I didn't just read those messages? You're going to stand here and lie to my face now, after everything I've done for you? I didn't mean for you to find out like this," she whispered, barely audible. Papoose lasts 10. The phone fell out of his hand and landed on the tiles. "Who is he?" he demanded. "Say his name." "Who is he?" Remy said. "You admit it, you're pregnant. and it's not mine." Remy didn't answer, so she just stood there with tears starting to well up in her eyes. The silence was louder than any argument they had ever had. "Backed up a step," she said. "I was lonely. And you were always busy, always working away. It's nobody you know." Papoose lunges toward her, not in violence but desperation. "I gave you everything, Remy. I waited for you. I loved you when the world turned its back on you. I fought for you every damn day. I messed up. It was a mistake. I was lonely." Papoose stared at her like she was a stranger. "You slept with another man, and now you're carrying his child." The words cut through her. "I was vulnerable, and he was there." Papoose backed away, disgusted. He was there. "In other words, every time I step out of the house, some man is there as a reason to cheat. I never stopped loving you, Papoose, but you sure stopped respecting me." The energy in the room became oppressive, and the silence between them became poisonous, full of unwarranted accusations. Then there was the sound of a ding from the phone, and another message appeared. "Don't let him stress you out. Focus on the baby ma." Papoose read it, then turned to face her, broken and empty. "You'll love him back?" he asked, and Remy didn't respond. That was answer enough. Later that day, the story went viral online, and a blurry picture of Papoose sitting by himself in a car with his face buried in his hands swiftly made its way to gossip pages. One insider said he hadn't spoken to anyone since that morning, and another said he simply drove off without his wallet or phone. Crying behind the wheel, fans were shocked. Some supported Remy, saying she deserved love and understanding, while others backed Papoose, calling him the most loyal man in the gay community and now the most betrayed. The comments section went crazy, saying Papoose didn't deserve this, saying she really did him dirty after everything he's done. "I hope this isn't true, but if it is, she's canceled." However, the drama wasn't over because just hours later, someone leaked the identity of the alleged mystery man. And trust us, you won't believe who it is. When the identity was leaked online, a private Twitter account shared a blurry screenshot of an immiscible collaboration. Fans conjectured that the chemistry between the two was unavoidable during their public appearances. From panels to podcasts, red carpets, and Instagram lives. However, most people ignored it because Remy was married and had a stable, loyal relationship with Papoose. No one could have predicted the storm that was developing behind the scenes, and now the receipts were piling up. Fans immediately combed through every post, interview, and backstage video they could find after discovering that the messages were time-stamped with photos of private dinners in Atlanta and even an audio message that was unmistakably Easy's voice. "I'm thinking about you and the baby. We're going to make this work, I promise." The betrayal hit harder now that the name had a face, and what they found only deepened the wound. In one resurfaced video from just 2 months ago, Easy was seen backstage at one of Rhee's shows, holding her coat. This seemingly innocent gesture has continued to this day. When a fan joked in another live stream, "You and Remy look too good," Easy simply smirked and turned his head away as Remy giggled uneasily. At the time, no one gave it much thought, but now everything seems planned. Meanwhile, Papoose had disappeared, with no posts, updates, or statements, and not even his closest friends could get in touch with him. A family insider claims that he had checked into a hotel by himself, leaving his wedding ring on the nightstand, refusing room service, and spending hours locked in, playing old songs he and Remy had composed together. Asterisk, this is tearing him apart. From the inside, the insider revealed he's hurt deeply. He gave his entire life to this woman. He rebuilt her after the world tore her down. This man wrote poems about her while she was in prison. Fans were screaming, but Papoose was silent, and silence was screaming louder than any diss track ever could. Back at home, Remy was frantically trying to control the situation as it went out of control online. Her team tried calling blogs, flagging posts, and issuing statements such as "no comment at this time." But the fire was already out of control, and then she made the mistake of going live. Her face looked exhausted, and her voice was shaky. She stared at the screen for a long moment, before saying, "I know you have a lot to say. I see the comments, I see the posts, but I just want you to understand something. I never wanted it to get this far." Thousands of people flooded the live in a matter of seconds, and Remy went on. "I'm not perfect. I made mistakes, but I'm human. And before you guys judge me, know that my heart was never to hurt Pap, never. That man held me down when I was nothing. He's a king, and he always will be, always will be." But what she said next only made the flames burn brighter. She inhaled deeply. "Easy was there when I felt invisible. Yes, things happened between us, but it was deeper than just sex." That word ignited an inferno. Fans were furious. "You humiliated Papoose live. Nah, sis, you've done lost us. He made you a queen, and this is how you repay him." Easy stayed radio silent, but his silence didn't mean peace behind closed doors. It's easier he wasn't expecting it to blow up like this. In his mind, the affair had been their private world, one that existed away from the lights, the labels, and the legacy. Now, it was spilling out like dirty laundry on the front porch of the entire culture in Papoose. He wasn't hiding anymore. 3 days after the story broke, he posted a single video with no music or intro, just him sitting alone. He looked thinner, exhausted, and he paused for more than 10 years. "Giving that woman my loyalty, sacrificing my career, my pride, and my time to show the world what love should look like. I thought we were solid. I thought we were forever." He looked down, then back at the camera, but forever got short very quickly. The comments section exploded, saying, "I'm crying, man. It hurts. Real men don't deserve this pain. You are too good for her, bro." His voice was slow and deliberate. He said, "I'm here to speak my truth." Ree's daughter Gajan, who rarely participated in her mother's public drama, took to Instagram to post a scathing story. "I'm not going into too much detail, but just know that if I were Papoose, I'd never forgive that mess. That man did more for this family than our own blood. It's disgusting how he got played." The fans were shocked, even though the family was turning against him. He logged off after saying, "I'm not mad. I'm just done." The drama was in full swing. The baby was real. The texts were real. The betrayal was undeniable, and now everyone was waiting to see what Papoose would do next. Was this the end, or was there one last confrontation left? Rumors were already circulating that Papoose wasn't done yet, and what he planned to do next would shake everyone to their core. As if that wasn't enough, another twist came crashing, down like lightning. A nurse from a private clinic leaked what appeared to be a prenatal skin appointment record and listed it under emergency contact. The final dagger was the prenatal skin appointment record. It was no longer a rumor, whisper, or speculation, or, as he said, it was confirmed, documented, and now permanent. Easy. The block captain was listed as Ree's emergency contact, not Papoose. The betrayal was no longer personal. It was now public property, and everyone was tearing it apart like vultures circling a broken carcass. However, the biggest questions remained like a dark cloud. What would Papoose do now that he had stated he was done? He posted his heartbreaking video, and then disappeared once more. But insiders were claiming otherwise. According to a close family friend, Papoose had discreetly returned to their marital home. Not to make amends, but to gather the pieces of his broken reality and depart with what dignity he still had left. However, what he discovered when he entered the house that changed everything was that the energy had changed. And the once warm and chaotic home now felt like a crime scene, frozen in time and cold with absence. Papoose moved methodically, not out of rage, but he packed a suitcase with his necessities and nothing more. He left his wedding ring on the bathroom sink. As he was ready to leave, he noticed the gift bag on the dresser with a baby onesie inside. That was still folded with the tag, fingers, and even daughter publicly criticizing her. This time, there were no trembling hands, no tears, and no pleading. He went straight to their bedroom closet and opened the drawers where his old journals were kept. He took every rhyme, poem, and private letter he had written to Remy. While she was locked up, a new video that surfaced, security footage from a backstage event that was leaked a few weeks prior to the scandal breaking showed Remy and Easy entering a private green room together, with him holding her hand while she laughed. They then vanished behind a curtain for almost 40 minutes. Fans began to delve deeper, uncovering clips of Remy dismissing questions about Papoose in interviews, such as marriage isn't always what people think it is, and sometimes loyalty becomes one-sided. Then, just when it appeared when things couldn't get any worse, Papoose took the next step. He posted a flyer on his Instagram story with the title Unwritten Truths. No caption, just a black and white poster for a freestyle event he was hosting. Fans knew right away that Papoose was going to speak the language he knew best: bars. Within hours, the venue was sold out. Cameras were set up, microphones were ready, and the crowd was packed with both industry leaders and devastated fans who came to hear his side as well as his rhymes. The energy changed like a thunderstorm, rolling in when he finally stepped onto the stage. There was no hype man or introduction, just him, hoodie up mic with fire-filled eyes in his hands, cleared his throat before starting Loyalty, a contract I signed in blood that held her down during the drought. Years later, she was swimming in the mud. And I'm still wearing that crown, as she texted a clown saying, "Don't let him find out now." Even if the crowd erupted, he continued to give her paradise in my heart and kept receipts in my spirit. Anguish in every verse. Now, she gave the end of the freestyle with a deadly calm. Let the streets do the math, but I walked away clean. No regrets, just the path. Mic drop, no outro, no words, just silence and then thunderous applause. The internet was on fire. Twitter users called it the realest freestyle of the year. Fans demanded a Spotify drop. I raised her like a queen. Now I'm just on the list. Tears, applause, shouts, even rappers in the back were jaw-dropping. Back in Rhee's world, things weren't so poetic. She had watched the performance alone in her living room, curled up on the couch, with her phone shaking in her hand. When the final line played, her eyes swelled with tears. Not because she didn't expect it, but because it hurt to hear her own. Betrayal played back with such grace, such power, and such finality. Now that she was truly alone, Ezzy had reportedly gone silent and stepped back. That wasn't rap. It was a eulogy. Papoose buried his marriage in a 16-bar coffin, and we still felt every word. Remy tried to contact Papoose via text messages, voicemails, and even a handwritten letter left at his mother's house, but there was no response. The love she had lost was replaced by silence, screenshots, and a child on the way with a man she hardly knew outside of private text threads and stolen moments. However, just when everyone thought things couldn't get any stranger, a whistleblower from Rhee's old circle came forward with a voice recording in which Remy is allegedly heard speaking to a friend just weeks before the messages were leaked. Even though I know Pap would be devastated, I can't continue to live in delusion. What Easy and I have feels genuine. It's not flawless, but it's mine. When the tape went public, people were divided once more. Some praised her for speaking her mind, while others criticized her for stabbing her first love in the back for what seemed like infatuation. Papoose, meanwhile, remained steadfast. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 with cup plead kind we can meet some couple with 5 records grade. Silent until a final post of him holding hands with an unidentified woman appeared on his social media account. The caption read, "New chapter? Who was she? Was this revenge?" Remy didn't comment, but those close to her claimed that she saw the post and sobbed for hours. This wasn't because he moved on, but rather because he did it quietly, without scandal, and without lowering himself to her level. Papoose walked away from the wreckage a king. The internet was buzzing like never before. In just 4 hours after it was posted, a picture of Papoose holding hands with an unnamed woman gained 1 million likes. Comment sections were filled with heartbreak gifs, fire emojis, and wild speculation about who she was. This is how you level up. The king finally moved on, so she better treat him like gold or will ride at dawn. Fans didn't see this coming, not because they didn't think Papoose could find love again, but because they never imagined he would let anyone into that broken heart. Not after Remy. However, the mystery surrounding the new woman created a frenzy. There was no face, no tags, no names, just a simple caption. A new piece, a new chapter, and that silence spoke. Many speculated that it might be a model named Nia from Papoose's early mixtape days, while others were certain it was an industry executive he had been secretly friends with for years. While some wild theories even suggested it was a publicity stunt, behind the scenes of clicks and speculation, Remy Ma was breaking down in real time. According to a close family source, Remy was not taking the post lightly. She saw it and broke her phone. She persisted in repeating, "He's truly gone and won't be returning." She had not eaten in days. She had stopped posting. The house was quiet. Easy had disappeared. And even those closest to her were avoiding her. The energy surrounding her had changed, and she was now alone. Remy was trying to process the storm she caused, and Papoose was gradually getting better in private, but he wasn't prepared to move on until he had one thing. The house smelled of lavender and quiet desperation. Every room held memories, both good and painful, that used to define them both. They sat down at the kitchen table, the same one where they had laughed, argued, and made anniversary toasts. One rainy Thursday afternoon, Remy received a knock on her door. When she opened it, her heart stopped. Wes Papoose, wearing a black hoodie, jeans, and an unreadable expression on his face. Not anger, not sadness, just calm. "Can we talk?" Remy stepped back, allowing him in without saying a word. Eventually, Papoose broke the silence, saying, "I'm not here to fight. I'm not here to yell. I just needed to look you in the eye one last time." Remy nodded slowly, her eyes already welling with tears. "I know what I did was wrong," she whispered, "but I don't expect you to forgive me," raising an eyebrow. "You don't cheat on someone you love and then say it wasn't about them," he said, his voice still calm but razor sharp. "I was lost," she said, almost inaudible, "and he was there and I wasn't. I was there at every court date, jail, visit, and stage, and the moment you felt lost, you turned to him rather than to me." Remy looked down, and "I was afraid to tell you that I felt disconnected." She said, "Well, congratulations." He said bitterly, "You hurt me more than anyone ever has." She nodded and she said, "But I never stopped loving you." Papoose gave a little tired laugh. "Love isn't just about feelings, Remy. It's about choices, loyalty, discipline, and respect." "Why did you have a baby with someone else?" Remy sobbed and covered her face. "I don't know why she did that." They sat there in a long, agonizing silence while she cried, and he watched. Eventually, he got up and said, "I'm not angry anymore. I'm not bitter. I'm just done." She stood up and reached for him, asking if she could give him one last hug. He hesitated, then slowly stepped forward and allowed her to wrap her arms around him, breaking and bleeding. This man loved her through hell and left with grace. Papoose is the blueprint. They don't make men like this anymore. However, what happened next caught everyone off guard. 3 days after the private farewell, the block captain finally reappeared on Instagram Live. But instead of making a heartfelt statement, he came with a hood up alone. Later that evening, a neighbor from across the street took a picture of Papoose walking away from the house, and it went viral instantly. Playing it like a joke, he smirked and yelled defensively, saying, "Hey yo, I don't owe anybody anything. You act like I stole somebody's wife." As she groaned, she made her choices. Didn't force anybody to do anything. Viewers were stunned. His words felt like gasoline poured on an open wound. He mocked Papoose subtly. Dudes be crying over women like they invented royalty. "Man, you all are just mad I got chosen. Now this ain't it easy, you've fumbled the respect of the culture." Papoose would never go online crying. "You're out here, gloating all of a sudden. Easy." Was canceled, sponsors withdrew their invitations, collaborators ghosted him, and even some of his battle rap peers publicly distanced themselves. One tweet from a fellow MC summed it up perfectly. "You win the girl and lose the world. Al and Remy." She watched it all happen silently, alone and regretfully, with the spotlight gone, the respect dwindling. And all that was left were echoes of what could have been. Meanwhile, Papoose kept his word, not dragging her or disparaging her. He was simply spotted at a book. In a world addicted to chaos and power, Papoose chose dignity. But was that really the end? No, because one late-night voicemail from an unknown number appeared in his inbox. 'Twas Remy's voice, crying, "I know I messed up. I know you've moved on, but I can't go to sleep without hearing your voice." He was protecting this peace with everything in him, including readings, community events, and occasionally posting an inspirational quote. The voicemail remained in earshot as Peepo sat on the edge of his hotel bed, the soft glow of the phone screen flickering in the dark, revealing Remy's number in her last desperate attempt. Her voice trembled with pain, with regret, with the kind of sorrow that only comes after you've lost something. "If there's any part of your heart left that still feels something for me, please don't shut the door forever." He never replied, not because he didn't care, but because he finally realized his value. You never imagined you'd lose, but he didn't. Hit play because he saw a very pregnant Remy Ma being led down a hallway in a gray hoodie with sunglasses on her head low and her mother by her side. The caption below the picture sent the internet into overdrive once more. Remy Ma checks into delivery, sweet and alone, easy, and the block captain is nowhere to be seen. The commotion quickly picked up. Where's the baby daddy now? Truly, lost both of them. Okay, now this is karma striking like a truck. As the story unfolded behind the hospital walls, Remy, by herself in a room that reverberated like a prison, stared at the white ceiling and wondered if this was the cost of every choice she had made. She had constructed a castle of secrets and destroyed the bridge that led back home. Izzy never showed up, not once for the scan, not once for the checkups, and not even once for the birth. His silence had turned into avoidance, and the same charm that had made her feel seen vanished like smoke the moment things became real. Now she wasn't just dealing with heartbreak. She was facing single motherhood again, this time without any fans or support. He had poured his heartbreak into healing, not through retaliation, but through rebuilding. But he had turned down every interview request, reality show offer, and podcast invite because he didn't want to profit from his pain and wanted to protect what was left of his soul. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Papoose sat quietly in a community center surrounded by young boys and girls reciting poetry, sharing lessons, and smiling. Fans conjectured about the woman in the black and white photo until Papoose shared another picture of him holding a baby girl, smiling one quiet morning. Time. There was no drama, no tags, and only the caption, "God's restoration looks different." For everybody. I got mine. The timeline then exploded. Wait, what? Did he have a baby? Who is the mother? I'm crying. He's a dad now. This is the redemption arc we needed. That wasn't the end of the story, though, because weeks after giving birth, Remy posted a final picture of herself holding her newborn son on her page. It had no filters or caption, just a picture of her with her eyes puffy and her face bare and raw, with a small picture frame on the hospital table in the background. The comment section quickly filled up, and she truly lost everything. "It's sad how life turned out, but I hope she finds healing." But no one knew that Remy had written another letter to Papoose, which she never mailed. Never texted, just folded, put in a drawer, and sobbed herself to sleep. In that letter, she said, "I love you. I still love you. And I'm sorry I ruined everything we built. You didn't deserve that pain, but I'll spend the rest of my life carrying it for you since you carried me for so long. I hope you found someone who gives you back the kind of love you gave me, even if it was never me." Papoose didn't just survive betrayal. He transcended it. He reminded the world that true love isn't loud and that true strength isn't about seeking retribution. Sometimes strength is just choosing to leave with your dignity intact. Remy, on the other hand, learned that even legends bleed. Sometimes, a few seconds of comfort cost a lifetime of peace. The real question now is, what will happen next? Will Remy ever have the opportunity to earn redemption? Will Easy ever? We want to hear from you now. Do you think Remy Ma truly regrets her actions? Is Papoose right to walk away for good? What do you think of Ezzy's disappearance from the picture after the baby? Let's talk about it. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos. And what about Papoose, who is the mother of his daughter? Will he ever share that chapter with the world, or is that piece too sacred to share? Only time will tell. Turn on post notifications and get unique drama breakdowns so you don't miss anything. Another astounding turn in one of the most outrageous tales in hip-hop since over here. Remember that sometimes the loudest heartbreaks occur. And that fact remains concealed forever. Silently, thank you for viewing, and I'll see you at the next one.